Harlan Ellison is the award-winning author of literally thousands of short stories, novels, commentaries, and articles, and, as all of you know, is one of our more frequent guests. And for what might be the last time, I'm pleased to welcome him to CBS. Thanks for coming on.
And pathetically and sadly, I'm sorry to say that it may be the last time. As I was saying to someone earlier, when you go, that's the end of it.
That's the end of it.
That's the end of it. Yep. It is all done. You're the last person I know who actually reads what he, of the things that people he talks to have done.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but
you are the only man I know, and I call you at home now and again because you call and we exchange jokes on the phone.
Yes, we do, and I have one for you.
All right. Whenever you answer the phone, you don't say hello, you say, yeah. Well, what is, yeah? What is that?
I get an enormous number of nutcase calls.
Yeah, the bed.
And despite the fact that I am basically one of the sweetest people in this hemisphere, I feel that instilling instant fear into anyone is a good way to act. Also, people call me from the industry. And there's nothing I like better than annoying and antagonizing people in suits who think that they are the creators instead of me. It's just another manifestation of my arrogance. I got to tell you this. God calls in Jesus. He says, you got to die. Jesus says, what are you talking about? I got to die. He says, I'm sorry. That's the way it's going to go. I got it written that way. You got to die. He says, boy, go be the son of God. Like you get some dispensation here. He says, God says, but don't worry. We're going to give you got your choice of ways to go. He says, oh, big deal. He said, you can be crucified. He said, oh, terrific. Crucifixion, that's lovely. What's the alternative? He says, well, we could have you, I don't know, stung to death by 80,000 Madden bees. And that is why, to this day, Catholics go like this instead of... Very good. Very, very good. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you that one over the phone because you have to see it.
Yeah, have you always been as a boy, were you a passionate kid?
Yeah.
Committed to ideas, committed to causes?
Well, I was very passionate, but unfortunately in Painesville, Ohio, passion always turned out that kid's going to wind up in prison. He'll be dead. They always predicted hideous things for me, and as you can see, they came to pass. There was no place to go with the passion. There was nothing to do with the energy except get in trouble with it.
Were you creative? Did you have ideas about stories and fantasies and stuff like that? And no place to exhibit?
When I was a little kid, I used to draw my own comic books, hideously drawn. And the balloons, I had one of those little typewriters where you turn the wheel and press down. And I would do it on the top, maybe 3 or 4 copies with a carbon paper, and I would staple them together and then take them around and sell them in the neighborhood. And if people didn't buy them, I would break their windows. That's how I learned marketing very early in life.
Did you mystify your parents? Did they understand you at all?
My mom and dad loved me. They just loved me, and they treated me terrifically. But they didn't have a clue. I mean, the poor devils. It was. I swear, it was like a pair of nice, pleasant pandas had given birth to a catamount or some sort of hideous slug creature from aliens. They didn't know what the hell to do with me. And periodically, my mother would have to just get away. And my father, they would just say, that's it, and they would run shrieking into the streets and go away for a while and leave me at summer camp so I would get the crap beaten out of me.
And we've talked about this. You were a small kid. You were very small. Smallest in the class.
Very, very, very tiny. And I was smaller than the smallest girl. There's a picture, well, you've shown it on this show. The picture of I think it's my 5th grade at Lathrop Grade School.
Yes, we have shown that. Yeah.
You have shown it, and the person who's only as short as I is a lovely woman named Jeannie Bittner. Her married name is Pengal. She lives down in Fairport, Ohio, with her husband, and she was my first date. And you can see the two of us. Have
you been back to a high school reunion?
Oh no, man! Are you kidding?
To Painesville?
No. Now I went back to Painesville a number of years ago. When I was much younger and in real good fit condition, after working out with some martial arts people, and ran into the bully who had beaten me up all my life. And there he was, sitting with a big fat beard gut in the bar of the Palmley Hotel, which I had always thought was this great, beautiful hotel, but it was like miserable wretch that came out of death of a salesman, And there he sat. He was at that time I think a milkman or a used car salesman or something. And his little bitty piggy eyes kind of fastened on me, and he remembered who I was, and I could see the synaptic relays trying to close. Ellison, punch it. And he started to get off the stool, and I thought, oh, hit Ellison. Must hit Ellison, and I thought, oh, thank you. And I was waiting for him, and he must have perceived that I was ready for him because he just got back up on the bar stool and drank
Now, what I didn't
That was years ago.
What I didn't know about your family, your father was a bit of an entertainer. He was in minstrel shows and musical shows occasionally.
He was a singer. In fact, my dad worked with Jack Yellen, the songwriter, and my dad taught me to sing. He had a beautiful tenor voice, and he taught me to sing when I was very little. And when I was just a little tiny child, I was in minstrel shows. I mean, we're talking very early in the 40s here now. And didn't go over terribly well, but there were no black people in Painesville at the time, so it didn't really matter. And I did a little minstrel show, dances and songs.
Now, you went off to New York to seek your fortune, as most kids who are born east of the Mississippi do, and you got there and you had a variety of occupations, I read this afternoon. You were a sanitation worker, a bridge painter. Tell me about these jobs that you had, to support your writing when you were a struggling young writer.
Well, the jobs that I held were, being non-union and being totally unskilled, at any major job, I had to take whatever non-union job I could find. And one of the jobs was they paint the Brooklyn-Manhattan Bridge with rust-resistant paint. I don't know whether they still do it, but they used to do it. The underside of it, because of the spume from the river.
Oh, sure.
And I would hang upside down in a cradle, painting it with rust-resistant paint.
I've heard that you go from one end to the other, and then you start all over. I've heard the same of the Golden Gate Bridge and some of the bridges up in Northern California.
And it is a scary job, and I didn't do it for very long. And then I worked picking up garbage at Bryant Park with a stick with a nail on the end of it. I like that. And I worked at the Broadway Bookshop between the Victoria and Astor Theaters between 45th and 46th Street, selling books. The Modern Library, semi-pornography, not real pornography.
Gotcha.
The Alcoholic Woman by Van de Velde, and then I would point to one chapter and said, her labia, in those days, the word labia was already, forget it, that was already pornographic. And switchblades. I had learned how to operate a switchblade knife, a non-button knife, a non-switch knife, an Italian stiletto, faster by hand, just by flipping it, than they could with a button. And the kids would come in from the Bronx and Brooklyn and from out of town, and they would say, hey, look at that, man, look at the size of that. And I would say, oh, you want to see something? And the knife would be this long close, and I'd go, and I'd have it at their throat, and it was this far away from them. And they'd say, ooh, I want to buy one of those. So I became very valuable in the bookstore.
How much did you hate all these jobs while you were doing them?
I loved them.
Oh, did you really?
I loved them. I liked working. I liked working with my hands, and I liked working among people who are not all concerned with what everything means. They just like doing whatever. I used to throw garbage. The best job I ever had was throwing garbage. I was one of the guys in the morning who picks up the cans and
throws it in the back of the truck.
Throws it in the back of the truck and then throws the can as noisily as possible back onto the side. Because at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, if I have to be up throwing garbage, everybody else will be up as well. And I loved that job. In fact, to this day, when they come to the garbage, my house, I'm out there every Wednesday morning. And I'm waving to the guys, and I'm taking the cans. Except now they got the hooks that pick up the can. It's
not like the good old days.
Nah, what do they know from real garbage?
We're chatting here with writer Harlan Ellison. The toll-free is up and running. We're going to answer the phone tonight the way he does. Yeah. We'll be right back after these messages. We're back with writer Harlan Ellison. Now, I want to talk to you about your performing career here. One of your jobs, you sang in the choir or the chorus of Kismet when you were in New York.
One of the jobs that I had, because I had a background as a singer, one of the jobs I had for a small time was singing in the chorus in Kismet. And if I'd not had the Asian flu for 9 days, I could probably hit the high note. But if you listen to the original cast recording of Kismet, you will be able to hear me sing, "Mars and a buy from me," or something like that. And that job didn't last very long, but somebody asked me, did I enjoy it? I said, yeah, I met some of the most attractive women in the world.
And on the Broadway stage.
A lot of action for a young man. It was a good time. I got another joke for you.
That's okay.
You don't want another one?
Well, let me continue now on your performing career, because you're going to appear in a production called, what is it, The Psi Factor?
I had not acted in 40 years. I was at the Cleveland Playhouse. Jose Ferrer thought I had talent, wanted me to come to Broadway. I had not been anywhere near a script except for doing my commentaries on another channel and shows like this. But I had not been near a script in 40 years, and I got a call from Canada from a marvelous little syndicated show called Psi Factor that they shoot in Toronto. The producer called me and he said, look, we would like you to come and play a role. Will you play a role as an alien?
Now, would this Psi Factor be like
PSI.
Oh, PSI, not
PSI,
not FBI.
The show is a lot like sort of X-Files light.
Oh, okay.
The star is Matt Frewer. It's a marvelous cast of Canadian actors. It's syndicated. It's on here in Los Angeles, I think, on Sunday nights, quite late. It's one of those shows that's on at such obscure hours that no one can ever find it. But it's really quite a nice little show. It's produced on a budget. And they treated me like I was Eleanor Aduza, for God's sake. And they brought me up to Canada. And
Eleanor Aduza.
Eleanor Aduza. And or Mickey Rooney, either one, whichever comes first. And I did this acting job, and it was a wonderful.
But usually you have great disdain for television, for production, for poor writing. So apparently this project was of sufficient quality to induce you to do it.
Well, it was. Well, that and the fact that they offered me a very nice sum of money to come in, and all I hoped that I would not embarrass myself, not having been in front of a camera in 40 years. And Matt Frewer and I did a wonderful scene together. In fact, did you get the clip?
We have the clip here.
Should I set it up?
Please do.
Let me set up for you.
Set up the clip, please.
This is a private, walled community where people have gone to get away from crime and whatever else, and they're sort of inbred. And this paranormal research investigation group has come there because there have been reports of UFOs.
Okay.
And now this one guy who has been arguing with the rest of the people in the town about letting these people come in and do their job is a character who calls himself Grifter. And I play Grifter, and Matt Frewer is one of the heads of this investigation team. And the scene you will see is where he meets me on the street.
All right, here is Harlan Ellison and Matt Frewer starring in a clip from the Sci Factor, which is in syndication. Here it is.
It'll be upcoming in February.
Okay.
Hey. Thanks for the vote of confidence at the town meeting.
I didn't realize that eavesdropping was a manifestation of your team's expertise, Mr. Fraser.
You seem a little more open-minded than your neighbors.
Yeah, well, they are a bit uptight. They keep forcing me to repair my picket fences.
So where to live it?
Maybe I'm someone more like you, someone seeking the truth.
And what kind of truth are you talking about?
Well, you just don't get it, do you? Look around. Look around. This is more than the pastry cycle. I mean, aren't human beings social creatures? Is it normal to be living cut off from the rest of society like this? No, this is the future, my friend, paying an early visit.
What if I'm not into cut-rate psychics and their flaky predictions?
Well, then I would have to log you in as one of the exceptions, because you see, people are kind of funny that way. You give them a little gobbet of real information to gnaw on, and suddenly they begin to turn on each other like rabid dogs.
So give me something else to chew on.
Oh, like strange manifestations, lights in the sky, alien abductees who know everything about you. Mm-hmm. Why you? Huh? Is there something considered the hidden agenda?
Oh, it's the alien world domination. I've been there. I've done that.
See, that's why they picked you. Because you're smart.
Who picked me?
Oh, no. That's why they pay you the big bucks, so that you can find out the truth on your own.
Oscar.
I am quietly humble in the face of such inordinate artistic ability.
How many takes?
One.
You're kidding, really?
Yeah. We shot it from, they had to shoot different angles, of course. And they had to but no, it was one take.
I'm impressed.
Well, why? I'm old. I ain't senile. It ain't hard to
Well, I
remember
know, but hitting marks and memorizing lines, that can be, you could trip a word or have to do it again.
Working with Matt Frewer is the easiest. We got along like a couple of cats in a bag, man. I mean, it was just funny. In fact, if we had to do retakes, it was because we kept breaking each other up. He would say something, I would say, you speak with very funny accent. And then he would do a thing, and then we'd fall apart, and everybody would laugh. But I was just pleased as punch that it went so well. And when I got all dead, they gave me a standing ovation.
Oh, very nice.
And I said, oh, God, they're glad to get rid of me. And the AD said, no, they really think you're good.
Can't believe Harlan Ellison uses the phrase, please as punch. Here is Kip on the toll-free in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, how you doing tonight?
Okay, Kip, how are you?
Oh, very good, very good.
Good.
Please as punch you're here, Kip.
The question I want to ask is, where can an inspiring writer get inspiration?
Well, that's like asking where can someone who has religious faith get faith. You either have talent or you don't. The mechanics can be taught. Anybody can be taught to write. I mean, if you read Judith Krantz, you know that things that grow in Petri dishes could be, on the bestseller list. Meaning no offense to real writers. You read good books, read good writers. That's where you get the inspiration. And the more you read good writers, you will learn how good writing is done. I mean, that's a fast answer. You're asking me to give you what I would ordinarily come up with in about a week at a writer's workshop.
Okay.
Thanks, Tip.
Thank you.
Got a trouble.
Great show, Tom.
All right, thanks, Chip. Be careful and stay well. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah, bye-bye.
All right, we will continue with Harlan Ellison. Still ahead is Paul Anka. You on the toll-free right after this break. And Ellison, here's Casey on the toll-free in Mashopin, Pennsylvania. Hi, Casey, and welcome to CBS Late Night. Hello.
How are you tonight?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, my question is why is it that the short story has almost disappeared?
That's a great question, by the way.
Yeah, well, this is the tradition of the short story, which is where writers learned how to write. You would write 10, 20, 30 short stories, then you'd go to a novelette, then you'd learn a novella, then you would try a novel. Well, when the paperback books came in and people demanded novels, writers started doing novels almost immediately. And then that happened almost coincided with the death of most of the popular magazines.
Collier's, Saturday Evening
Post, Blue Book, Lady from Companion. All of them use vast amounts of
short story material.
And now, not even Playboy. Playboy does 1 or 2 pieces of fiction a month, and they're always by somebody by Mario Vargas Llosa or Vladimir Nabokov, somebody with a big cachet name. It's very hard for writers, excuse me, to learn how to write short stories, except in the genre magazines. There remain science fiction magazines, mystery magazines like Ellery Queen's and Alfred Hitchcock. A few.
Do you still write short stories yourself?
Yes, absolutely. I write short stories all the time. And except now I charge $6,000 for them instead of a penny a word. La-di-da.
La-di-da.
Time to move on. It's one of the few perks of hanging in there long enough for them to give you the gold
Great
watch.
question, though, because we were talking about that the other night with somebody here. Short story, like all of literature, when we studied literature in high school and had our first exposure to it. Edgar Allan Poe, wonderful short stories, and
well, the short story is, in my view, the most perfect fictional form. A novel can be full of air, can be very windy, can be great. Particularly people who write these trilogies, these endless trilogies. I mean, Tolstoy was able to do War and Peace in 1 volume. You would think that these people were able to do a book without having to go on indefinitely. But people are used to watching television, and television demands continuing series. And so writers do continuing series.
Casey, I'm glad you called, and thank you for watching our show tonight.
Good question.
And we're going to miss you, and you take care of yourself, buddy.
All right, thanks, Casey, and you too.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye-bye now.
You know that everybody has very American names tonight? Chip, Casey, Spike.
What about the curse and the blessing of humanity?
Well,
I mean, I know you're tough on the human race, and you're tough on television. You're tough on I'm not as bright as you, but I'm fairly bright. I tire of incompetence sometimes, and I tire of people who could do better and don't. What about you? What do you think of all of us, humanity, people?
I grow to like myself less and less every day because I'm getting meaner and meaner and more elitist. In this country, you can say almost anything and get away with it. You can say Eleanor Roosevelt had an affair with a horse. You can say God is dead. Anything you want. But what you cannot say is that some people really are better than others. And it's true. Mm-hmm. Jackie Robinson was better than anybody around him when he was working. Jonas Salk, better. Ralph Nader, better. There are some people who are quicker, smarter, and care more about the rest of the human race. They contribute more. And by my lights, that makes me better. We worship idiocy today. We worship people in sitcoms who are incapable of opening a lemon jar. And we see movies in which we raise to the level of hero Pauly Shore and Adam Sandler. I mean, it is really a Jerry Springer world. And I find that an intolerable place in which to live. I, who have always worshipped people who were quick with the clever remark, the intellectual remark, the clever remark. I'm not a great, heavy, thinker. I like watching, the People's Court, and I watched Purgatory on TNT last night instead of the new 60 Minutes. It could, put you to sleep. But I look around me at the level of incompetence, and it is now tragic everywhere you go. The world is, our world, America, is just filled with people who are bumbling imbeciles, and none of whom will accept the responsibility for it. I screw up all the time, but at least I say, yeah, I done it. Now everybody, it wasn't my fault, man. It was the computer done it. Does that answer the question?
It answers the question, but what it really says is, there are people who are better than others. But there are people who you and I might well describe as bumbling idiots who could, if they would just exert a little bit more effort, rise to a level of competence and get along in this society so much better than they do. If they would just try just a scope harder, that's all.
But Tom, they are encouraged not to. Everything around them, all of society tells them, don't stick your neck out. Don't be, we laugh at education. I was doing politically incorrect. And I used the word, I was talking about Nixon being dead, and I said, I'd like to go up and slap him as he lay there on the catafalque. And Mars says to me, catafalque? And I said, yeah, you're going to make fun of good grammar? If anybody who uses proper language, anyone who would correct someone, you say, oh, who cares? Who knows?
Or at least try and raise the bar a little bit. You could have said, funeral beer, or you could have said...
Well, I did. I did say that, but it was obvious that it was easier to make fun of someone who used a word that what the perception was.
But you see, we live in an age where comedy is making fun of people. Politically incorrect makes fun of people. Some late-night television programs make fun of people. Situation comedies make fun of groups of people or classes of people.
Yeah.
And that's not good. I think that's probably...
We make nothing but fun of people. We reduce everyone to the role of being a buffoon. I find the people on The Simpsons much smarter than I do the people on Friends.
I watch neither.
I watch everything.
I know you do.
I watch everything.
That's the problem.
I read everything. I see all. I know all. And I spend a lot of time in the bathroom.
It's been quite a ride for you and I thank you for all the good times. I don't know what the future holds for me or for you, but I thank you for all that we have shared together.
I will miss getting together with you, pal. It's way over 20 years.
Yes, it is.
You once told me that I had done your show more than anybody but Chevy Chase, and it's been years since I've seen Chevy on the show.
I think if you combine all my shows in '73, you're the hands-down champ.
Thanks. Been a good ride.
Okay, thank you, sir. Harlan Ellison is the guest. You know his books and you know his writing. It's among the best we have, and I treasured the time we spent together. Next, Paul Anka, and a wonderful new CD after this break.